Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. It is freezing! Start this engine!
Perfect.
Alright, as you heard, it is freezing. My hands are so cold, I cannot feel my fingers, so I gotta get this engine started, yo. It's cold. Alright, so that's what I'm gonna do, and then we'll talk about the mission. Okay, bro. Check. All right, so today's mission, what I want to do is I want to fly, and I am going to be playing with some frequencies here and be looking at this this navigation here. So definitely want to make sure I get straight on my headings. I want to really keep headings, because apparently when you're flying a localizer, it begins to kind of shrink a little bit. And so you don't want to chase the needle, but you really want to stay on your heading. So that's what I'm going to do. Really going to kind of focus on my heading. And that is today's mission, is to just be in the mindset of flying a good heading. So nothing fancy, nothing earth-shattering, just good old-fashioned flying, but with a purpose of really focusing on my straight and level flight. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up. Brakes are good. All right, turn coordinated, moving ball is opposite. Compass is moving freely as well. All right, so let's come up here. I'm going to come up here and do my run up, and we'll get on out of here. All right, I think we are good. Doylestown traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, departing runway 5, Doylestown. All right, we are ready to go. I don't see anybody or hear anybody on final. No one is on the field, so it is game time. And so I'm gonna pull on up, and you know the drill. One is like right in my eyes, but this is always just so exciting. Now, the most important thing, if I'm not making good power by the back VASI, then I am going to cut the power. All right, what do I see? I see 5, I see 5, I see 5. All right, we're good. Heels to the floor, full power. All right, engine instruments in the green, oil temp, oil pressure, suction, all look good. Airspeed is coming alive. Got that real shimmy, and we're off. Positive rate, gear up, and climb out at 80 till we reach 1200. Once I've reached 1200, then I will make my left crosswind turn out to the west. And the reason why we do that is for noise abatement. If you can't really see down there, but there's houses, and so that just kind of helps with the noise. And there I am. Doylestown traffic, Cessna 6086 Golf, left crosswind turn out to the west, last call, Doylestown. All right, so welcome to another flight. And again, this is just about really trying to stay on my headings. So apparently, when you're flying instruments and you're flying what they call a localizer, when you're coming into land, so say you're flying in the clouds and you can't see, at some point there is a decision point that if you can't see, oh wait a minute, I gotta do a checklist, sorry. All right, so my power is where I need to as I'm climbing good. Mixture is full, rich, carb heat is cold. My taxi and landing lights can come off. So as I was saying, when you're flying into an airport and you're flying in instrument conditions, you can't see, you're flying in clouds. Your instrument, so this instrument here will tell you basically, well, this one here actually, I think. One of them, I will learn. I'm getting there, I will learn. But basically you're flying, and what ends up happening is you pick up this instrument, and the instrument on the ground, the localizer, sends a signal to this instrument, and there will be a needle, and it'll either go left or right. The most important thing is when you're flying that localizer is that you maintain a proper heading, like really stick to it. A lot of times what ends up happening is people are chasing a needle and they end up doing these things called S-turns. And so that's what I really don't want to do. Now, I have to admit that I have been lazy in that I really don't focus a lot on my heading as much as I should. And so that's why these are the things that I really want to start focusing on so I can really be prepared for, you know, what happens when it's time to really start flying in a, you know, in an instrument environment. All right, so I am flying 27275, 280 heading, but I gotta check it with my wet compass, and my wet compass is saying something a little different. All right, so I'm descending. You can see these clouds here. So I don't want to go up above there because I don't know what that cloud layers look like. If I have a hard time getting underneath these clouds, then I will turn. Go back from whence I've come. Because that's one thing. If you're flying, if you're going the direction and things don't look right, and you have to get into something that you aren't prepared to deal with, which I am not. I am not prepared to deal with clouds because I am not instrument rated. Then you turn around and go back to where you came from, or at least turn direction. Don't keep going towards the place where, you know, it's like you're running into the problem. That makes no sense. I saw traffic, so I had to do a little right turn, make sure that we keep good separation. And I got a flock of geese up there. I don't know if you can see them, but they're right at that cloud level. So just all kinds of stuff going on today. I tell you, no flight is ever usual. It's like with flights, the abnormal is normal. All right, so I'm still looking for that traffic. All right, so now back to my other work. And I'm back on my 300 heading. And if you look out there, you know, I'm just looking at that visibility. And this is still within my personal minimums. I like a good 5 to 7 miles visibility. And I definitely have that. Little bouncy, people, little bouncy.
Just to be completely transparent, I wanted to show you what a lot of my flight looks like a lot of times when I'm not talking and I'm just flying. A lot of the flight looks like this, and because, you know, I'm looking for traffic, you know, I'm listening for traffic, I'm looking at my airspeed, I'm looking at my heading indicator and all of that kind of stuff. And so this is what a lot of the flight looks like, but, you know, a lot of times I edit this out because it's boring. And again, this is done for entertainment purposes and not as flight instruction, but I just wanted you to get a feel for what a lot of the flight looks like, just to be transparent. All right, let's get back to the fun part.
Well, this has been a challenge for sure.
Automated weather observation 1357 Zulu. Wind 350 at 8 knots. Peak gust 15 knots. Visibility more than 10. Temperature -0 Celsius. Dew point -4 Celsius.
Real quick, before I start talking about the peak gust, look at this shot. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, I love aviation. Anyway, yeah, so you might have said, well, Russ, peak gust 15. Didn't you just abort a flight last week? Well, yeah, but I'm in a bigger airplane. I'm in a Cessna 172 as opposed to Little Sammy, which is a 152. It's just a bigger airplane, so it's able to handle the gust better.
Make my way to the airport and really just trying to focus now on locating the field. And of course, I'm not doing an instrument approach or anything, but just trying to make sure I stay on top of my game here. All right, so this has been eventful. I mean, we had a 360, we had flock of geese, got clouds, we got a little turbulence, but you just got to be prepared for all the things that come your way. Sometimes you can't predict. I looked at the weather, looked at all of that kind of stuff, and you know, it just No matter how much you plan, sometimes things, plans change. And this has certainly been the case. In football, they call it calling an audible, where, and I hate to use football terms, and I love football. And the football, real football, not soccer. I don't care. You get mad at me if you want. There's football and there's soccer. I did. Anyway, in football, they'll have a play in mind. The quarterback will come up to the line, and then they'll look at the defense and they'll see something that, this play may not be the best one based on what I'm actually seeing. So the quarterback will call an audible, meaning they'll switch to a different play. So flying is like that. Sometimes you just have to call an audible. So if you look out there, you see that like little hill. Can't see it maybe, but there's like some electrical towers. So I always try to make sure that I have good clearance over all of that stuff. All right, so see those white buildings right there in front of us? Okay, now keep going, and then you'll see. So it's going to be like a roller coaster ride. We're going to be like right over. So if you keep looking, you'll see off to the right there's some houses and stuff. So this is the little hill that I want to fly over, and then we'll begin my descent. Okay, so TPA is 1500, elevation is 523. So it's down over this. That's why I wanted to keep a little bit more height. I can still do about a 500 feet per minute descent and get down to TPA. But I wanted to get over this before I started that. Okay, so since that's about to happen, let's start our descent. Mixture goes full ridge carb, heat comes in, and let's bring this back to 2000. Those coming down, I'm going to trim for this descent. Okay, so let's do my prepare for landing check. So I'm going to test my brakes. My brakes feel good. And I'm going to turn on my taxi landing light. My mixture is full ridge. My carb heat is already on. And another flock of birds, if you can see right there. Goodness, what's up with all these daggone birds? Alright, so field is right out in front of us. See where it looks like that long barn? See that smoke back there? So come back this way and you'll see the runway, basically where that long barn is. Alright, so you can see down there we're flying over the field.
So as you can discern that this video and the original mission went completely sideways. Yes, I was trying to make sure that I stayed on top of my headings, but man, there was so many things going on, like multiple flocks of birds and I mean just craziness. So let's go ahead and just bring this on in and call it another successful flight. Although I will say I did not fulfill my mission here because I was all over the place with my heading and definitely wasn't precise there. So all right, let's bring her on in.
I don't like my speed. All right, not too bad, not too shabby, not too shabby. Well, that was interesting. So, not the way I planned it, but it still was a good flight. I still got to deal with my headings and all that kind of stuff. And I'm struggling still, just especially like this little bit of wind. It was definitely a little squirrely. Definitely a different type of flight, but it was definitely necessary. And yeah, I mean, just trying to do my thing. So thank you for joining me. Russ Kid, Russ Can Fly. I'm out. Peace.